I had the good fortune to see, and I asked whether I could talk about it, and I was told that I could. And then we're going to go on to talk about some of the movies and shows that are out and about at the present time. Peter, you're aware that the Jewish International Film Festival is just around the corner? Oh,
yes, that's right.
Right, and do you know the film that is going to open that?
Armageddon.
Armageddon.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to give you an early sneak peek at Armageddon Time because this is J-Air and it is a very, very strong opening night film. It's 1980. It's Queens, New York City, and a couple of sixth graders form an unlikely friendship that causes all sorts of friction. Paul Graff, played by Banks Rapetta, is from a good Jewish family who escaped oppression in Europe. African-American Johnny Davis, played by Jalen Webb, is from a broken home. He's living with his grandmother, who's increasingly ailing. She's suffering from dementia. Paul is a gifted budding artist, while Johnny, who is repeating grade 6, dreams of a future with NASA. Both fall out with their teacher, whose name is Mr. Turkeltaub, played by Andrew Polk, and the youngsters bond while being prevented from participating in gym with the rest of the class. Paul is particularly close to his grandfather, Aaron Rabinovitz, played by Anthony Hopkins, who's a principled man who thinks the world of his grandson and enjoys spending time with him. One day, Grandad opens up to Paul about the trauma experienced by his, Rabinovitz's mother, that saw her leave the Ukraine and make a new home and life in America. Rabinovitz is the glue that binds this family together. Paul has a much more prickly relationship with his dutiful but overextended mother, Esther, Anne Hathaway, and his plumber father, Irving, Jeremy Strong. The pair of them have aspirations for Paul that don't match his own desires. As the boys' friendship develops, I'm talking about the two boys that I referenced, both Paul Graff and Johnny Davis, they find themselves increasingly at odds with authority figures. Meanwhile, Rabinovitz encourages Paul to be a mensch, and that's a Yiddish word meaning a person of integrity and honour. It's written and directed by James Gray, who did Ad Astra. Armageddon Time is a deeply personal coming-of-age story, a layered work of fine craftsmanship, and with it, Gray has revisited his own upbringing and created characters that inhabited his formative years. The film is characterised by a series of outstanding performances, starting with newcomers Rapetta and Webb. Now, they've been involved in different productions, but they're just making a name for themselves. I had the good fortune to interview the pair of them. Very, very impressive. Very much so. So both inhabit their characters with distinction. There's a vulnerability about them which is authentic and captivating. Paul is just trying to make sense of a world where he knows he's different from other kids, and Johnny is alienated and hamstrung by racism and poverty. Anne Hathaway, bravura showing, knockout as a mother who's both caring and impatient. And Anthony Hopkins slots comfortably into the role of a grandfather who dishes out worldly wisdom. There is much about Armageddon Time that's emotionally wrought. It's a sensitive film about love and loss, about class, struggle and expectation. Many of the scenes stayed with me long after I exited the theatre. It's a movie that deserves to be seen and appreciated for its insight into the American dream. So this is something to look forward to, gentlemen. Something that, as I say, will open the Jewish International Film Festival and will open in cinemas next month. So, it's one I wanted to talk about because I think it's going to be, well, it'll be interesting to see come Oscar time whether this will be up there. That I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. We'll talk about it again, but I just felt that I wanted to say something about it because it's a very, very interesting and engaging and sensitive piece of cinema. That is